Hi, and thanks for joining me today. This is Mike, and this month I'm a guest designer over at Crafter's Castle. If you're not familiar with Crafter's Castle, it is a blog that has monthly challenges, which means prizes, as well as different monthly sponsors. This month's sponsor is AMB Illustrations, who designs gorgeous digital papers. If you're not familiar with digital papers, these are digital files that you can either print out on your home printer, have them printed as I have here at Staples, or use them in your software as pattern fills. What is great about digital papers is that you can reuse them over and over, as well as scale the patterns up or down, as I have here. On the left you can see that's the original pattern, and on the right I scaled that down. I'll be using about half these papers in today's project and the other half in a project later this month. So please make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of my projects. What is also great about AMB Illustrations is that they not only sell on Etsy, but they also have a brand new website that also has some SVG files as well as freebies. As always, I will leave links in the description box below. So here are the two cards that I made using this digital paper, and I really like this. They're very easy to put together, and I'm going to go ahead and we'll assemble the one on the left. So let me show you the supplies that we need. Alright, so I'm going to be using Distressed Oxide in Worn Lipstick. I'll not only stamp some of the images, but I'm also going to ink some of the edges to hide any of the white showing. I'm using two stamp sets from Anthony's Papercraft, a Spellbinders die using the Nestabilities. I'm using the second one from the smallest, which is number 2, and it's 2 1/4 by 1 5/8. I cut the pattern paper down to 3 3/4 by 5. I have a black and a white cardstock, both cut to 4 by 5 1/4. I have a strip cut to 1 by 10 for the band, and then an 8 1/2 by 11 sheet. As you know, I don't practice making my projects before filming, and the big reason is I want to keep my videos real so you can see how easy the projects are. If I can do it, so can you. And also, that way I can show you my mistakes, and so we all learn together. Therefore, sometimes I need to grab additional supplies I didn't anticipate, and I will always call those out as they come into play. So here I'm inking the edges, and not only gives the edges a little depth, but it also hides any of the white core inside. Now I should have waited to ink this piece because I'm going to go ahead and cut it in half, and I'm going to go ahead and need to ink it again. I've gone ahead and used my Spellbinders die to cut out the shape using my Cuttlebug, and I did this off camera to save you some motion sickness because my whole desk shakes and the camera bounces all over the place. So I'm stamping using the rose stamp from Anthony's Papercraft, and after inking up the stamp, I stamp it off on a scrap piece of paper so that when I do stamp it onto the actual tag here, it is a lot lighter, and that is called second generation stamping. So I went ahead and I stamped it off there, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp that onto the tag there, and as you can see I have a very lighter impression there. So now I'm going to go ahead and grab my sentiment stamp, and using the black VersaFine Onyx ink I will go ahead and stamp my sentiment on top of the rose that I just stamped. And I really like how that came out. That came out really crisp and sharp. Now I need to cut my pieces diagonally. I'm using my Stampin' Up! Trimmer, which I really love. You just need to line up the corners diagonally onto the track and make a clean cut. I will do that for both the pattern paper as well as the black piece. Next, I'm taking the 8 1/2 by 11 cardstock, and I'm going to score that. On the 8 1/2 side, I am scoring that at 4 1/4, and on the 11-inch side, it is scored at 5 1/2. Don't worry, I'll have all the measurements below, and the best part about YouTube is you can watch it again and again. I'm then going to take the piece and cut it diagonally as I did the other pieces. I'm going to do that off camera as I had to cut it and then flip it over as it wouldn't fit or cut all the way into using my trimmer. You're going to get 2 card bases out of that 8 1/2 by 11 sheet of paper, And now they are also pre-scored exactly where we needed. I'm taking my bone folder and I'm making sure those folds are extra crisp. This part of the assembly is super easy. You're just layering all the pieces that we cut out. The pattern paper will go onto the black, and then that whole panel will get glued onto the card base. Today I'm using glue because I wanted to ensure that I had an extra few seconds of wiggle room to make sure I was able to center them nicely onto the card base. And here's one of those moments I talked about earlier about making mistakes. It's probably best to stamp your sentiment before gluing your paper on the inside, just in case you mess up and need to restamp. As you will see in a second, I did mess up my stamping, but thought it was still usable. These are thank you cards I'm sending to some friends, and for that I'm good with how it's stamped. If I was selling these, I definitely would have stamped them again. Next, it's just a matter of wrapping the band around the card and securing it closed with some glue or tape. You want it snug but not tight. You want to make sure that you can easily remove the band and put it back on again without any hassle. This is actually going to keep the card closed. Now that the band is secured, I'm adding some foam tape to the back of the sentiment and we'll adhere that to the band. And basically our card is complete. Here you can see both cards that I made using digital papers from AMB Illustrations. And to finish them off, I'm using Nuvo crystal drops. And for the one on the left, I'm using the color Rhubarb Crumble. And for the right, Morning Dew. And these are the cards for today. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please check out AMB Illustrations to see all the wonderful images my friend Anne-Marie has available. Also, make sure you visit Crafter's Castle for this month's challenge where you can win some amazing prizes. I will also have links to the other design team members' videos. Please visit their channels as well for some amazing inspiration. And thanks to you all, I am so close to my 1,000 subscriber goal by summer. So if you have not already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button now. I really appreciate it. Thanks again and have a great day!